were working on. I was like, sounds good. I'm a team player. Sounds like a lot of fun. And we did have a lot of fun. So it was a really good time.
Can you tell us, because I did hear this rumor, can you tell us now that you're on the Fox family, anything about this brotherly show that you're developing with your brothers in Fox?
All I'll tell you is, because we're in the middle of it right now, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I think that Matt and Andy and I, after all these years of not working together, are really re-energized about coming back to multi-camera and doing it again. I feel like the audience has been so good to us. They've been so patient with us, and they've been begging us to do it for literally 10 years. And I feel like we're all at the right place emotionally and mentally and creatively. To come back together as like grown men, I think is really going to be a lot of fun to this platform that we had so much success in as kids. We want to get it right for the fans. It really is all about the fans. Fortunately, I know the medium really well. I know what's missing from a lot of the half-hour comedy in the multi-camera format that's out there today. It is a real art form, and there is a musicality to it, and it really is character-driven. It's not really premise-driven so much. It's character-driven, as we know by all the shows that we love, right? Whether it's Will and Grace or Friends or Seinfeld or any one of these, How I Met Your Mother, Big Bang. I mean, all these shows, it's about the characters. You could literally watch the characters talking about paint drying, and because you're invested in those characters, that's what it's about. And today we get caught up in so much like the premise. Well, it's what's the premise? Premise doesn't really matter. It's really the characters. That's the relatability. And anything those characters go through, which you can relate to real life and all the ups and downs, and obviously it'll be very relevant to today. I think if those characters are relatable and you're invested, you'll watch them do anything. And then the musicality, which is all part of half-hour multi-camera. So we're just really, really excited about it. I think Fox is the perfect spot for it. And, their audience and our audience, I think, is mutually minded and just really excited about, this whole thing. So we're really charged up about it, Matt and Andy and I. So, and we're working together right now. Where I'm at right now is this Winter Wonderland, as we do a sequel to our Christmas movie that we did last year for Amazon, which was called Mistletoe Mix-Up, which was a really big hit for them. So we're doing a sequel, which will be out Christmas in 23. So it's exciting.
Wow. Well, if this new Fox half-hour comedy is anything like brotherly love, sign me up.
It's going to be better. I promise.
Well, that's all you need to say. When you think
we got one viewer, we got
we
you.
have, well, and all these listeners here, I'm sure are going to be in as well. When you think back to the beginning, though, Give Me a Break, which I watched, so now I'm dating myself. I mean,
hey man, you're dating me. We're dating each other. It's fantastic.
I'm dating both of us now,
yes.
But we're like holding up well, so that's all that counts.
I like to think so. Trying to eat my blackberries and moisturize,
It just takes a little extra at this age. Do you remember that you were so young? Like, do you remember your days on that show?
Oh, for sure. I started that show when I was 6. I'd done a year of national commercials, did the Carson show and all that explosion. And then NBC, and the greats over there, Brandon Tartikoff and all those geniuses were like, look, we got to have this little, kid that's somewhat funny on our network. And yeah, they slotted me into this really great show. They had shot the pilot for, and done a season, and they were like, we need something. So they mixed it up and I was able to be a part of that. But I remember it vividly. I remember everything about that. We used to rehearse with that show. We weren't on the set. That was a luxury that later came. And now half-hour comedy doesn't even know what it's like to rehearse when you're not actually on your set. We were in rehearsal halls, and they would put tape on the floor, and the tape would represent the different rooms. And you'd have a couch for the couch and a mock kitchen table for the kitchen table. But we would pantomime almost everything, walking in and out of doors, going up and down the steps. We weren't on the actual stage till the day before the live audience rolled in, because they would have to build it, because there were so many half-hour comedies and there was such limited amount of space that we would share the stage we were on with Different Strokes and Silver Spoons, and they would build those. We would shoot on Tuesdays or Wednesdays or Fridays, depending on the week. I mean, it was crazy, but what a skill set to learn, because that was like training. I mean, you didn't have the luxury of anything. You had to just imagine it. You weren't on the set till the day before,
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, also on that show, Rosie O'Donnell played Nell's neighbor. Do you remember
She did.
Do you remember working with
Uh,
Rosie back then?
Not only do I remember working with Rosie, Rosie was fantastic. Jonathan Silverman was also on that show. We also had Sammy Davis Jr. on that show and Milton Berle. I got the tap dance, dude, with Sammy Davis Jr. I got to do comedy with Milton Berle. I mean, this is like, I didn't even know what was happening, how amazing that was, you know? But yes, Rosie was on there. Not only do I remember her, but she was so nice to me, and we would hang out all the time. She had I'm a car guy, right? Love cars. She had a dope tan 1983 RX-7 Mazda, and she took me with the T-tops. She took me for a ride in that car, dude. I was like blown away. So yes, very, very fond memories of Rosie, and later went on and did her talk show, and you know, for years. It's crazy. You know, you do this 41 years, like I've done this, and you know, you keep seeing people at different stages in their careers, and they see me at different stages of my careers, and it's an amazing thing, you know.
Wow. Well, you went from playing one Joey on Give Me a Break to another one on Blossom. You know, look, you reunited with on Call Me Kat with all your co-stars. I mean, the Twitterverse went crazy. Like, why do you think it is that all these years later, like, what is it about Blossom that people just love this show?
You know, I think it's just, look, it really struck a chord. I think for the day and age, it was very edgy. You know, we dealt with things that you know was not being dealt with for teens on TV. You know, we dealt with, I mean, like rape. I mean, there was an episode where, you know, Mayim's character, obviously, and I had to come to her defense, and there was a guy that forced himself on her or tried to in a dating situation. That was like unheard of back in the 90s, especially in the half-hour multi-camera. No way. We also dealt with drugs, and you know, we dealt with coming of age and being intimate and all these things. We also were pretty edgy because it was a single parent home, but it wasn't the mother that was there. Remember, the mother left. So, you know, she, and not only did she, it would have been easy to make her pass away, but no, she like abandoned the family, and the father was left to pick up the pieces. All these things were very, 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 very sort of untouched, you know, until we came on the air, and Don Rio allowed us, you know, and NBC allowed us to keep our edge. And I think it became very relatable, you know, extremely relatable to a lot of people, where life is not perfect, but as long as you can get up every day and you can live it, that's like the blessing. And we had to keep that in perspective. And I think the show did that really well, yet balanced it with a real life version of kind of what was going on for young people, you know. And I think that's what, you know, made it so identifiable, and sort of people, you know, still to this day, obviously, like you said, talk about it and ask us all the time if we're ever going to reunite, you know.
They do. You said that there's not one single interview you've ever done that someone hasn't asked you that. Well, here you are. So I have to just stay on trend. I mean, talk to me. I mean, like, is it possible? Like, talk to me about this.
Look, anything's possible. I mean, the brothers and I getting back together is happening. You know, and in today's world, what's so wonderful is you can have, you know, 2 or 3 shows going on at the same time, which, as you know, in the 90s was like unheard of. Nobody, you were on one show, you will not do movies, you will not do anything else. Well, thankfully, we've gotten to a place where all the networks and everybody is like